in the northern suburbs of Cincinnati, Ohio. This mall, built between 1988 and 1989, is noted for its troubled history, despite being the second biggest mall in the state. This is the Forest Fair Mall. After bringing many new retailers to the market, it lost 3 anchor stores, the Altman and Company, the Bonwit Teller, and Sakowitz. Its original owner, L.J. Hooker, to bankruptcy less than a year after opening. The mall underwent renovations throughout the mid-1990s, attracting new stores such as Kohl's, Burlington Coat Factory, and Bass Pro Shops. Mills Corporation renamed the property to Cincinnati Mills in 2002 and renovated the mall once more in August of 2004. Following the sale of Mills' portfolio to Simon Property Group, the mall was sold several times afterward while continuing to lose many of its key tenants. After having been named or renamed to Cincinnati Mall and again to Forest Fair Village in 2010s, the property received significant media attention as an example of a dead mall. It also received a number of proposals for renovation, none of which were realized. Following years of tenancy decline, it closed to the public on December 2, 2022, with the exception of Kohl's and Bass Pro Shops. These stores respectively closed in 2024 and 2025. Opening in the early years, the first phase of the mall, featuring Biggs and approximately 20 other stores, opened on July 11, 1988. A month prior to this, Higbee's withdrew from the project after being purchased by a joint venture of Dillard's and Edward J. DeBartolo Sr. As a result, B. Altman was relocated from its originally planned store to the space vacated by Higbee's, thus leaving a vacant anchor store and causing delays in opening the rest of the mall. Immediately after the Biggs wing of the mall opened, Elder Bierman was confirmed for the vacated anchor left behind by B. Altman's relocation. As a result, the rest of the mall's opening was delayed to October 1988 and again to March 1st of 1989. About 1/3 of the mall's tenants were open by this day, including Bonwit Teller and B. Altman, and the food court. By mid-year, Elder Bierman and Sakowitz had also opened. Other tenants included an Australian restaurant called Wallaby Bob's, a 1950s-style cafe, Oshman Sporting Goods, and an 8-screen movie theater called Super Saver. Many of the tenants were unique at that time. Wallaby Bob's was the first brewery restaurant in the nation that operates in a suburban shopping mall, while another tenant, Koala Clubhouse, was the first licensed daycare to be located in an American shopping mall. Another major tenant presented at opening day was a 100,000 square foot entertainment complex called Timeout, featuring a carousel and miniature golf course. A 1989 article in the Cincinnati Enquirer described the mall as entering uncharted waters due to Sakowitz, Altman and Company, and Bonwit Teller all being not only new to the Cincinnati market, but also due to the higher priced merchandise available at those stores, in comparison to the area's more blue-collar demographics. L.J. Hooker filed for bankruptcy soon after the mall opened due to debt incurred by the company's expansion in the United States. The company put Forest Fair up for sale in June 1989 with an asking price of $200 million. At this point, only 65% of the inline mall space was occupied, and the mall was described as struggling due to a large number of vacancies, primarily in the B. Altman wing. The proximity to both Northgate Mall and Tri-County Mall was also cited as a factor in the mall's struggles, particularly due to the latter undergoing an expansion not long after the Forest Fair opened. Despite the mall's troubles, the owners of Parisian noted that the store's sales were strong enough for the company to consider expansion in the Cincinnati market. As part of L.J. Hooker's bankruptcy filing, the company offered all 4 of the department stores it had acquired for sale. Parisian was sold back to its previous ownership, while the other 3 department stores were ordered to undergo liquidation. The other 6 B. Altman stores began liquidation in November of 1989, although the Forest Fair store was kept open at the time, due to concerns by L.J. Hooker's lawyers that closing the store would lower the mall's value. Liquidation sales began in August 1990 at the Forest Fair's locations of all 3 department stores. All of the other Sakowitz stores were also liquidated at this point, along with all but 2 locations of Bonwit Teller. These locations, both in upstate New York, were sold to pyramid companies. In 1990, the mall was sold to a partnership called FFM Limited, heading by a group of banks which had loaned to L.J. Hooker most of the $250 million in construction costs. Now, let's fast forward to 2002 and 2007, Cincinnati Mills. The Mills Corporation bought the mall from Gator Investments in September of 2002 and announced that the mall would undergo further redevelopment, along with a name change to Cincinnati Mills. As part of the redevelopment, Mills forced many small independent businesses out of the property. Renovations began in January of 2003, which included new paint, floors, and signage throughout, along with differently themed decor for each wing of the mall, typically the properties developed by Mills at the time. Elder Bierman announced the closure of his store in 2003, as the chain wanted to focus on smaller stores in markets with lower populations. After a $70 million renovation project, the mall reopened officially as Cincinnati Mills in August of 2004. This part of the Mills redevelopment, Babies R Us, replaced Stein Mart, and Johnny's Toys had opened in the upper level of the former Elder Bierman, while the older Super Saver Theater was sold to the local theater chain Danbury and renamed the Dollar Saver. Inline tenants at this point were focused mainly on discount stores and amenities suitable for families, as was typical of other properties developed by Mills. By January of 2005, the mall had 90% occupancy. Despite these renovations, the mall's tenancy began to slump again in 2006. This included the loss of Media Play, which went out of business entirely, and Johnny's Toys, which was closed so that Steve and Barry's could create a larger store using all of the former Elder Bierman store. In addition, the president of Biggs reported that their store in the mall had constantly struggled in sales due to it being located in the back of the property. Also contributing to the decline were continued competition with Northgate and Tri-County malls, along with newer outdoor mall called Bridgewater Falls in nearby Hamilton. Lower class demographics surrounding the mall, shopper unfamiliarity with the specialty tenants within, bankruptcy filings of key tenants, and complications from an accounting scandal in which the Mills Corporation was involved. Simon Property Group acquired the Mills portfolio in 2007. In 2008, the present Cincinnati Mall, Forest Fair Village, Biggs closed in June of 2008, shortly after both Berean Christian Stores and Wonder Park closed. North Star Realty acquired the mall from Simon in January of 2009. The North Star proposed to begin converting portions of the mall to office space, call centers, and other non-retail uses, also renaming the property to Cincinnati Mall on March 4th of 2009. Under the North Star's ownership, Steve and Barry's vacated due to the chain going out of business, while off 5th, Guest, Lane Bryant, and Dress Barn relocated to a newly built outlet mall in Monroe. Despite the loss of these stores and other inline tenants such as Master Cuts and GNC, Totes, also Toner, operated a temporary 30,000 square foot warehouse store in a vacated retail slot near the food court. In addition, the property owners had fallen delinquent on property taxes. Cincinnati Holding Company purchased the mall in 2010, right as Showcase Cinemas closed. 3 local businessmen announced plans in 2011 to open ice skating rinks in the vacated Biggs. By this time, Guitar Center had also closed, and a studio was proposed for its space, while a hotel was slated for the former Elder Bierman Steve Barry space. Bass Pro Shops announced plans to relocate to Westchester Township in 2013. Also, the mall was renamed again to Forest Fair Village. Burlington Coat Factory moved out of the mall in 2013, and Danbury Dollar Saver closed in 2014. The proposed relocation of Bass Pro Shops, combined with the continued delinquent taxes, created delays in any further attempts at redevelopment. Further redevelopment plans through the association with Prudential Commercial Real Estate fell through in 2014, when that company's listing agreement expired. Now, in 2017, only Kohl's and Bass Pro Shops, an arcade, and a children's entertainment complex remain in operation. That's what you see here in these videos. If you see them in the background, those are only those stores that are open, which they're not doing too well themselves. You can see them moving out. Back to the story. A brokerage team put the mall up for sale in 2017. In mid-2017, a Christian media company had expressed interest in using part of the mall property for a studio. Inspectors from the city of Forest Park cited the building for a number of code violations throughout 2020, including sealed emergency exits and graffiti. At the same time, Cincinnati news station WCPO-TV began investigating the mall after viewers noted that Amazon Prime delivery trucks were used in the structure's parking lot to stage deliveries. Officials of both Butler and Hamilton County submitted plans to the state of Ohio in 2022, calling for a $9.5 million in funds to demolish the mall. There was also began negotiations with Kohl's and Bass Pro Shops for redevelopment plans. The Butler County Journal-News reported that any plans for the mall's demolition would be contingent on the availability of funds, with one potential plan being to convert the property to light industrial use. Arcade Legacy, one of the last remaining tenants, moved out of the mall in September of 22. Unfortunately, that was also when I seen this place. And it was sad. They're friendly. But it is what it is. Life goes on. A month later, WLWT reported that the mall is slated for demolition along with 825 other buildings across Ohio. It's a pretty good list. As part of the state governor Mike DeWine's Ohio Building Demolition and Site Revitalization program, the mall was finally closed in December of 2022, after the City of Forest Park Fire Department closed all remaining businesses, except Bass Pro Shops and Kohl's, which they were on the end, due to a number of fire code violations. In January of 2024, it was announced that Bass Pro Shops would close its Forest Fair Mall location on January 13th and relocate to a much larger store located near Interstate 75 in Westchester. In January of 25, Kohl's announced it would be closing 27 underperforming stores in April, including their Forest Fair store, leaving the mall with no tenants. In this video here, you see that we're trying to look inside of that cinema, which everything was left behind. It just shuttered up. It was dirty and filthy, and there was trash laying out everywhere. But every mall that's going to be desecrated is going to have a lot of trash left behind. This place kind of held a very special place. I was able to take my kids here a few times. The ideas of coming back with skates or even a bike or something like that, just to cruise around and burn some calories. Because you look around, there is some security that was walking around earlier, and they were following us. They were just making sure that we're not doing anything bad, we're not up to any good. This is right before the mall's closure, ultimate closure, and shutting its doors, so that nobody could walk around. Because beforehand, you can visit it, you can walk around and just kind of sightsee or just kind of walk that nostalgia. It was nice. And I'm glad I got to experience with the kids as being one of their first explorers with me. And obviously sitting here, going down this elevator, as you look up, there is a mirror directly above. I don't remember if I got on this one or not, in this video. Those other videos I took. But yeah, there we go, there's the mirror. Very interesting. But it's sad, all these malls dying around America, and I take the time to go out there with your family or with the kids, document it, because malls is a dying breed. We all know it. And as much as I like, seeing them now, Amazon, online shopping stores, and they've all taken the larger piece of the pie when it comes to retail. So, the days of walking a big building with endless stores, I think, is over, unfortunately. Rest in peace, Cincinnati Mills. If you have a story that you'd like to share with me, go ahead and leave it down in the comment section below. We can talk about it. Being malls was a staple when I was growing up. And depending on your age, depending on if you went to the big malls or, just hung out with your friends or with your family, and things are changing. So I want to hear your experiences. I want to know your best times. Where did you go to the mall for? What was your favorite stores? And obviously, what was your favorite mall? I look forward to reading them. Until then, guys, have fun. Enjoy the rest of this video. And have a good night. Please like, subscribe if you like what I'm doing. And I'll see you soon.